And
Well, you played baseball,
yeah,
right? So at a young age, well, baseball there was always like leagues,
yeah.
right? So that was a now if it wasn't in season, did you have like another
So
like?
there was a traveling team that I played for, but
Hmm.
it was more of like a again like a NorCal based thing. It wasn't even Bay
Yeah,
Area. It was like a
right.
NorCal
It's not like
representing
it is
team.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely not. There's tryouts. You try out for the team. If you make that team, you can kind of play year round. Like there's a
yeah,
fall season, that's off season for that, right? And then a traveling team where you
yeah,
travel and play other
yeah.
places too. Yeah, but it was at the time highly competitive because on a baseball team you got 13, 14
Yeah,
guys only,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you're talking about all these schools and teams that come together and try out for
yeah.
that. So
So let me ask you this: what do you think when you made that team? Because you
mhm.
try out and things like that, and it's a bigger pool than just your school, and like, what did it feel like to make the team? Like when you figure out, hey, they called you or told your parents, hey.
Yeah, it felt good. I think every time that because we had to try it a couple times. Like
Mm-hmm,
every
every
season,
year,
you have
yeah,
to keep trying out, right? Even
yeah,
if you were the one there,
played
I think you
before,
still you belong, but then it was still kind of the nervousness of getting a
yeah,
phone call, right?
yeah,
But yeah, for me, it wasn't like excitement; it was relief that I get to keep playing,
right,
right?
right,
That's all I really wanted to do at that time was keep playing ball.
yeah,
Didn't matter if our team was trash. Didn't matter if our team
yeah,
was the best team. I just wanted to play.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that was the biggest thing during that time was and getting out of Daly City with
right.
it's
That
always
got you out of
winter
there.
here, right? So, I
Yeah,
mean, we get to go get some better weather and play
right.
baseball. So
I think that's the other thing that I like, um, wanting to let the kids experience is like that feeling of like competition, but you're not sure what's gonna happen, or
yeah,
like how do I stack up, and like how bad do I want to do this,
yeah,
and I don't know. I feel like that's valuable, and I also like to see them like succeed at something. It's like if you don't try, you don't put yourself out there.
you never
Yeah,
know. Yeah, yeah,
So my older son, he's playing basketball, and they had a couple games. Like I mean, he's still learning, so he's not super consistent, but he loves it,
hmm
and he's had a couple games this year where like you know made some big shots down the end, towards the end in tight games and like or D'd up in
yeah,
like tight games and stuff. And I was like, man, that's why just to get that feeling of
yeah,
like, winning a close game or like working hard and being like kind of nervous and not sure, but then
yeah,
you
for
win.
sure.
I remember when he did his last jiu-jitsu tournament. Like the previous two tournaments, like he won some matches, but he got like I think silver and bronze, and he was kind of like bummed. He wanted to win gold. He thought he
Yeah,
could have beat those guys, and he ended up. They had this weird thing where there wasn't that many of them, but they all had to like round robin it. They weren't just gonna pass one guy on. So he lost his first match, and like, and he was winning, and then he lost, and like the look on his face. We got a picture. He's like, oh my gosh, like because he was like, I'm winning gold. That's it. I'm winning gold, and it ends up that the other guy moved on. He had to go with another guy, and if he
yeah.
beats that guy, he can go on
See that
again,
again. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so he won. And then when he beat the guy for gold, like he was like elated, like he was just like yes. And
That's awesome.
I mean, again, it doesn't matter that it was just like for me, like whatever tournament it was just this to see
That
like
experience of that.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
the defeat, but then the redemption,
yeah,
and like hey, I can do this, or hey, I didn't die, or
yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah, yeah.
and I think that's a great thing about being a dad is like being able to watch these moments.
For sure.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, thinking back to like youth sports and stuff, I think, in hindsight now, I gained the most from it when I was on that crappy team, right? When I was on that team where, one of the big things for me was always the integrity of the sport, right? Even as a kid, it's really weird. But, like running out to your position, hustling in and out in
Right,
between innings, all that stuff.
right.
People are dragging their gloves
Yeah,
and head down
yeah,
because their, team's not that great. But I think that's what allowed me to kind of excel later on it is because
Right.
of that. The aspect of caring no matter what the score, time,
Yeah.
anything is, right? Like
Yeah.
the last inning, we're getting beat by 10. I'm still diving for that ball in the hole, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think I I like I've been on some really bad teams, like really bad teams, but teams that I worked hard to get onto, but we were just really bad. And but I remember my coach saying one time, and I mean these are cliche things, but it's how you take them.
Yep.
But he was like, "Hey, play with pride. Okay, play with pride, man. You know, you might you're gonna lose this game, but like, you know, you're out there.
Yep.
You know, you're gonna play with
You're just gonna
pride,
lay down
right?
and let 'em walk along.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, you know, I remember, and that's some things I used to say to, you know, when I would coach guys. I found myself saying a lot of the same things, but the things that like hit me,
That
you
stuck,
know.
exactly, yeah.
And I think the other thing I tell this a lot to, like, you know, different people that are on meet. Now I'm meeting a lot of parents, right? And I'll find that like every parent got like hoop dreams for their kid. Like, and I'm like, you know, hey man, let's just enjoy this time. Not everybody goes on to the next level, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and I mean, it even starts now, right? The junior high level, and then to high school.
Right.
I mean, it's not even getting to the league.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely. Like,
literally the next level.
It's and I see that, but I try to tell him I do want my kid to be good at something or be good at the thing he wants and to go as far as he can. But the main thing I want him to come away with, I usually tell these parents, is just that, like, you know, I want him to get a culture of practice.
Yep.
You know, just that the idea that, hey, if I want to get better at something,
you work hard at it.
Yeah, I can work hard. A buddy of mine was he wrestled for Indiana, and I think he even met Darren before because I think he was Ryan Hall's wrestling coach for a while. When he was at George Mason or something like there's some out there in like that DC area. But anyways, I remember he telling me, like, he's from Chicago, and he would tell me he did all the sports, and his dad was like one of his coaches and all that, the normal thing. And he remember him telling me that his dad told him, he said, listen, I guarantee you, I promise you, if you work hard, you're going to improve. I can't guarantee you'll improve more than that guy, or the same if that guy works just as hard as you. He might improve more, but you will improve if you put in the work. And I remembered that, you know, and that was a time when I just started coaching freshman and JV basketball. And that's the thing I told him, and that's what I want, you know, my kids to understand. That, like, man, you might not be as natural or gifted or physically gifted as these guys around you, but you can get better at anything. And the thing is, see, I didn't have coaching when I was real young. And, you know, I was around like athletes who I thought, oh, they must have been born that way. You know, like, damn, he good at everything. You know, he can play football, he can play basketball, you know. And I just knew I was naturally competitive, but I wasn't naturally like, I couldn't throw the ball the farthest or whatever it was. And so I don't know why. I played, and I would get a little better, but I never thought, no one ever told me, like, dude, just bust your ass, man.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, we talking about practice. Not the game I love. We talking about practice. You know? I mean, you know, so.
That's essentially what it comes down to, right? And I think, you know, all that ties back to jiu-jitsu, right? I know we're talking about jiu-jitsu a bunch, but a couple things, right? Like never giving up and stuff. In jiu-jitsu, that's what's great about it, right? Even if you're down, if there's time on the clock, you still have a chance.
Yes, still have a chance,
For the most part, you have a chance at all times, which is awesome, and that's what I like about it, right? The biggest thing, though, I think, that happens with kids in any sport is they compare themselves to the next person, right? And then at which rate this person's getting better, I'm not getting better at that rate or whatever it may be. You got to control what you can control, right? Which is how hard you work and how much time you put in.
Well, so what is the level then of when you say you, because we don't want to compare, but we do want to show, like, hey, look at this guy, you know, but not like maybe the work they put in or something like that, or the
I think I think that's a bigger example, right? It's how hard someone's working as opposed to what they can actually do.
right.
It might be the guy that's not the greatest on the team, but he's busting his butt trying to get better, right? He's the first one when we're doing suicides.
Right.
Whoever it is, right? Trying. Just because you have the talent doesn't mean you can slack off on those type of things, right? Which is really easy to do. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's super easy to do whenever you do have the talent or you are developing at a little bit faster pace, right? But yeah, we're talking about kids too, so you got to think about like, okay, the kid doesn't want to run because he's
Yeah.
But that one that is going to turn out to be something, maybe not in basketball.
Right.
But it might be something else.
Right.